Hey there folks, how you doing today? Welcome back to the channel. Please bear with any background racket that you might hear out there throughout this production. We are on location where life happens, and sometimes there's stuff going on that interferes with the sound quality on these presentations. Today's video is a remake of a video that we put on the channel back in November that was quite popular. In fact, it was so popular that it drew the attention of the thought police, and it was struck down on a technicality. So here we are trying again with the Bull Armory SAS2 Ultralight 3.25 inch model. For comparison, we will be using a Gen 5 Glock 19 today. Folks, both of these are safe and empty weapons. There's no ammunition out here in this area, and it's going to remain that way throughout this portion of the content. Steve. So starting with the Bull Armory SAS2 Ultralight 3.25 inch model, let's burn through the specs on this one real quick, going straight to their website. Hold on, I've got it written down here. I'll put it up on the screen. The Bull Armory SAS2 Ultralight 0.25 inch. Bull Armory touts the Ultralight as being the lightest gun in their lineup, built with a compact grip module, a fluted barrel, lightweight aluminum Picatinny frame, an optics ready system, and a CCW trim. You get the best of all worlds without compromising on anything. That's what they say about it. Further specifications: the US MSRP is $1,490. It's a 9mm pistol with a 3.25 inch fluted barrel. The guide rod system on this pistol is a dual spring recoil assembly with a 16-pound spring. It has the SAS2 aluminum frame with a full-length Picatinny rail, compact polymer grip module. The black stainless steel slide with front and rear serrations is optic ready for the Shield RMSC and Hollow Sun K footprint. The trigger is a modular system. This one is a short curved shoe. The trigger weight for this model is between 3 and 3.5 pounds. We will be measuring that later in this video. To quote Henry Ford, the pistol is available in any color you want so long as it's black. The empty weight is 622 grams. If you speak in cabbage, is 1.4 pounds, which is just about equal to the weight of the Glock 19. And Bull Armory recommends 124 grain ammunition for reliability in the SAS2. So what do they mean by CCW trim? Well, let me see if I can't point that out to you here. I'll go ahead and drop the slide on this thing. You'll notice here that the hammer does not have a spur on it. We'll go ahead and point that in a safe direction, pull the trigger, and you'll see that the hammer is blind at the rear of the frame when the hammer is in the forward position. So there's less material back there for it to get snagged on. It does have an ambidextrous safety. However, the rest of the controls, the slide release and the magazine release, are right-handed on this model. As we mentioned before, it is cut for the RMSC or the Hollow Sun K footprint. This is a Shield SMSC mounted on top of the pistol right now. Alright, interesting story on that SMSC optic. I put the battery in this thing back in November. There's no on-off switch. It's just kind of always on, which at first I wasn't real crazy about. That being said, here it is 8 months later. The battery's still going strong. So at this point, I'd say probably you could get away with changing it maybe once a year when you do your smoke detector batteries. So you might be asking yourself, well, Jay, why are you comparing this subcompact double-stack 1911-ish pistol to a Glock 19? I mean, is that really a fair comparison? So my reason for comparing it with the Glock 19 is simply because they are just about the same size. Now the barrel is a little bit shorter on the SAS2, but from a height standpoint, it's taller than a Glock 19. I don't know if you can see that there. I'll put up some images to superimpose here. But when you consider the beaver tail and everything else with it, I'll point out on this Glock 19 I have an extra large grip here with the beaver tail extension on it, which makes it a little larger than a standard Glock 19. But man, these things are just about the same size. The Shield does sport a 1-round capacity advantage over the Glock 19. And while the Glock might not win any beauty contest, this is a nice looking pistol. This is a higher end pistol. You could buy 3 Glock 19s for the price of this pistol. So it's not a fair comparison, it's just a basis of comparison to get you familiar with the size of it. On our previous range session with the Bull Armory SAS2, we fired, I forget how many rounds, we fired several rounds, maybe a couple hundred through it, with no issues whatsoever. I tried a variety of ammunition, as well as I had not read that it preferred 124 grain ammunition, so I shot a bunch of 115s through it. Worked out real good. So I wouldn't worry too much about that, just know that there might be a little bit of a break-in period with it. With this one, there was not. Go ahead and get my trigger pull gauge in here and we will test that trigger pull to see.
A few moments later.
So now I'm going to show you in real time using this Wheeler trigger pull gauge what the trigger pull actually is on this pistol. Again, from the specifications, it said that it was anywhere from 3 to 3.5 pounds, so let's see if that holds true. Well, as you saw right there, it's coming in with an average of 3.1 pounds, and I can tell you folks that this trigger pull is probably the nicest trigger pull I've felt on any handgun that had not had a custom trigger job. In fact, it rivals the trigger pull on my 1911 with a custom Ed Brown trigger. Oh, did you see that? I was able to close the slide without breaking my shooting hand grip. So while I've already done it once before, we're going to take this pistol with its current configuration back over to the range and test it for accuracy and reliability, and we'll come back and show you how it held up. Well, as you can see for yourself here on the target, the accuracy at defensive distances was phenomenal. I had no issues whatsoever picking up the red dot in broad daylight. The reliability with the various types of ammunition that I shot through it, which was all big box, bulk pack target ammo, was top drawer. I believe the last time I had the pistol at the range, we also tried 3 or 4 different hollow points through it, and it did really well with all of those, and I just couldn't justify wasting the hollow point ammunition to run the same test over again when we hadn't had any issues with it in the past. So now you might be asking yourself, is there anything about the Bull Armory SAS that you don't like, Jay? Well, there's a couple of things about this fat boy that I really don't like, and that's the big one is the size. While for a range pistol, for a nightstand pistol, it's a really nice size, and the larger grip does lend well to good accuracy. This is about as easy to conceal as a Glock 19, and for a lot of people in a lot of scenarios, that's really just too big. To put it in a realistic real-world comparison, my very hot SIG P365 here is considerably smaller and lighter than the Bull Armory SAS. Albeit you're giving up a couple of rounds of capacity, but for most folks in most applications, that's not really going to be an issue. So size-wise, for me, it is a little large for a CCW piece, although if I were going somewhere, you know, with like a sport coat and I could accommodate, say, a Galco Jackass shoulder rig, I think it would be a good way to carry this, and I would enjoy carrying it knowing that I shoot it well and it's been 100% reliable. I caught a lot of flack about this from a guy in the last video that I did on it, and I'll explain it a little better this time, my position on it. But Michael the knife maker literally lost his mind when I mentioned that I could not reach the magazine release without adjusting my shooting hand grip. He wrote a lengthy explanation on how I'm just an idiot and the slide release is not designed to be released with the shooting hand. I did a video in rebuttal to that here a while back that showed that that's just not the case. But for visual here, nice shooting grip on the Glock 19, and drop it without changing my grip. Full-size Walther PDP, again. Honest to goodness 1911. So take it for what it's worth. That is really the only thing I don't care for on the pistol. I certainly wouldn't let it stop me from buying one. It's just something to be aware of. Some pistols, such as several models from Ruger, do not even have slide releases. They are intended to be slingshotted like that. I don't like that either. I've mentioned it as being a design flaw. Folks lost their mind about that too. I digress. It's of little importance. I just want you to be aware of it. So overall, I think the Bull Armory SAS2 is a fantastic pistol. At the price point, which is not cheap, it is in direct competition with things like the Springfield Prodigy. I think I prefer this to the Prodigy, and I think you could probably have both of them for less than the cost of a Staccato. So take that for what it's worth. I would like to hear what you have to say about the Bull Armory SAS2. If you have any experience with one, let us know down in the comments what you think. I'm going to leave it at that because the rest of the comments that I made last time got me in trouble. So until next time, happy shooting, take care, and God bless.